Today's story, true or false? Weird plants. True or false? The acacia tree grows slimy body armor for protection. False. Some acacia trees have long, sharp spines which prevent animals from eating the leaves. Tiny but ferocious ants also protect some trees. They live in the hollow spines on the trees and attack any animals that come near. In turn, the trees produce a sugar nectar and its leaves for the ants to eat. The rafflesia flower is called the corpse flower because it smells like rotten meat. Corpse is another name for the dead body. True. This giant red flower is so stinky, it will totally gross you out. The rafflesia releases a foul odor similar to rotten flesh to attract flies and beetles that help the flower reproduce. Venus's flytrap plants eat meat. Venus's flytrap plants use their sweet-smelling leaves for feeding insects. When an insect lands on a leaf, the leaves' two halves snap shut and trap the insect inside when it's crisscrossing bristles. After the plant breaks down the insect, the leaf opens up again, ready for more tasty treats. The pitcher plant drowns insects. This meat-eating plant lures insects deep into its pitcher-shaped leaves with bright colors and sweet-smelling juices. The leaves are slippery and lined with bristles. Struggling insects can't escape. In time, the insect becomes exhausted and drowns in the rainwater at the bottom of the leaf. The plant gradually digests the insect. The Old Men Cactus got its name for the wrinkly and bold appearance. The Old Men Cactus gets its name for its fluffy wisp of long, soft-looking white hairs. The hairs hide its prickly spines. Don't be fooled by the cute downy fur and try to pet it. The pretty seeds of the rosemary pea can make music or fashion statements. The rosemary pea plant is best known for its shiny, round, black and red seeds. The seeds are used as beads and jewelry, and in musical shakers called maracas. But the seeds are poisonous and deadly. Eating just one seed can kill a person. The strange Tomboy plant lives for 1,000 years. The Tomboy plant often lives for 1,000 to 2,000 years. It looks like a giant, flattened mushroom spread over the ground. This particular slow-growing desert plant grows only 2 leaves its entire life. Some people eat the Tomboy plant raw or cooked. They call it the onion of the desert. It takes only about 24 hours for the giant titan to run to blood, but the bloom lasts for several years. It's the other way around. It takes 7 to 10 years for a single titan arum to store up enough energy just to begin its bloom cycle. The spectacular 8-foot-tall plant usually blooms for just 24 to 36 hours, lasting only until the following morning or afternoon. Titan arum is another kind of coarse flower. Skunks love to eat a plant called skunk cabbage. The name skunk cabbage has nothing to do with skunks, but plenty to do with the plant's foul smell. This huge wildflower gives off a very stinky odor when damaged or dying. The skunk cabbage can even make its own heat and melt snow around it when the plant sprouts in the very early spring. The baseball plant is shaped like, you guessed it, a baseball. The unusual-looking baseball plant has a pattern of vertical ridges of tube that look like a stitching and seams on a baseball. This plant is found only in South Africa. Some animals feed on baseball plants during times of drought. It's it's okay to eat the cute berries for the doll's eye plant. The pea-sized berries that are deep pink stains are extremely poisonous, and eating them could cause a heart attack or even death. The white berries have black dots on the tip that makes them look like the eyes of the old-fashioned China doll. People often mistake the stone plant for a rock. This fat little odd-shaped plant looks just like a stone. It has the same color and shape of the rocks around it. This makes it difficult for animals to find and eat it. Some plants have only 2 padded green or grayish-brown leaves. The plants rarely grow higher than an inch or so above ground. Most of its body grows below ground. The strangler fig could choke animals to death. The strangler fig chokes trees, birds, or the wind deposits sticky seeds in the top of the host tree. As the young strangler fig begins to grow, its dangly roots creep down the host tree's trunk until they reach the ground and anchor themselves in the soil. The fig's roots encircle the host tree's roots. This slowly kills the host tree. By then, the big, strong strangler fig has surrounded the hollow body of the dead tree. Darth Vader is the name of the plant. Some people think the rounded top and flower petals of the Darth Vader plant look like the mask worn by a namesake for the villain Darth Vader from the Star Wars movies. Others say the deep-set lobes on the sinister-looking blooms look like the hollow eyes of a skull. The first dragon blood tree sprang up with the blood of the wounded dragon. Dragons are not real, and there is no such thing as dragon's blood. This tree will get its name for the red sap it produces when it's injured. You can stand up or sit down in a Victoria water lily. The round leaves of this queen of the water lilies grow to more than 8 feet across. That's longer than a king-sized bed. The leaves are turned up in the rim and float on a water surface. They are attached to long stalks on a stem buried in a river bottom. The giant water lily was discovered in Bolivia in 1801 and named for Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. The giant Baobab, or bottle tree, stores water in its trunk. The Baobab's massive swollen trunk is shaped like a bottle, but it is hollow in the center. The tree is more like a living cave. In some cases, baobabs were used as a bomb shelter, a shop, a house, a storage barn, or even a bar. Some say one baobab tree in Australia served as temporary prison in the late 1800s. The resurrection plants can come back from the dead. To resecure means to come back to life. A resurrection plant can transport itself from the dead-looking ball of dry-out leaves into a beautiful lush green mass in a few hours. There are several dots. The plant which withers, turns brown, and curls up into a tight ball. It sure looks like it's dead, but after a few drops of rain, it quickly renews itself. Some plants can live for 50 years without water. Eating elephant food yams makes your throat itch. If not properly cooked, elephant foot yams could give you a really scratchy throat. This unattractive but hearty vegetable is eaten as a delicacy or a substitute for meat in India. If you touch a giant hogweed plant, you could go blind. The sap of this giant hogweed can cause long-term sensitivity to sunlight and permanent blindness if it gets into your eyes. The sap on its leaves, roots, flower heads, seeds, and stem hairs causes painful blisters and scars. Dew comes from the sundew plant. The sundew plant gets its name from the drop of sticky fluid it makes. This fluid may look like a glistening drops of dew that sometimes appears on a clear morning, but it's not. The plant's leaves grow hairs that give up the sticky fluid. When an insect gets stuck in the fluid, the hairs wrap around it. More fluid covers to suffocate the insect, which is then digested by the plant. Ice plants grow only in Iceland. Ice plants live in dry regions. Most are native to South Africa, but people have grown ice plants around the world. The glisten hair-like parts of some ice plants look like ice crystals. The Bonsai is named for Joel Poinsett, the first U.S. ambassador in Mexico. He introduced the plant to the United States when he returned home from Mexico in 1825. The unusual dark flowers of the bat plant look like a real flying bat. The flare petals are black or deep purple with long hanging threads that look like cat whiskers. A bamboo plant can grow 35 inches in one day. It is the world's fastest growing woody plant. The hydronomacry plant grows completely underground except for big orange flower. The smelly flesh looking bloom pushes through the soil after a heavy rain attracts beetles to spread its pollen. Tulip bulbs were worth more than gold during the 1600s in Holland. The craze that erupted during this time was called tulip mania. The end.